Hello, and welcome to the World of Ravinia podcast, where we follow the tale of a group of college adventurers learning their trade in the classroom and real world at once. I am Dungeon Master Menvale. We join the party after the sudden loss of their dear friend Zindi Rainmind. Lost in an instant in a flash of light, how will they cope with this loss? Let us find out as we return to the world of Ravinia. Alright, so brief recap of you guys had harvested parts from the owl bears in Watershine, said your farewells, and went up the road along with and you got to the west and you guys were heading east. Got to about an hour away from the college when Zin technically stepped on a snow and set the
Yeah, you're cutting out a lot.
trap that
Can you hear us? Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but so like the others are saying that you're cutting out a lot and it's right for me too.
All right, 1 second.
You didn't respond, so I figured that maybe it's like a
Oh, I didn't hear you until that time when you said, "Can you hear me?"
Oh, I didn't speak up until then. But
Oh,
Andrakia and I think Quark maybe said something.
During
Quark
your
definitely said
during your review, it wasn't a constant speech. You were kind of like blanking out a few times.
Okay. I just ran the test in Discord, and it should be good now. Am I cutting out still?
No?
Nope,
Oh,
you sound
okay.
crisp.
All right. So, picking back up where we left off the recap, you guys dropped off the pieces of the owl bears and watershine, got paid out for your quest, split off up the road with Sven and Big Jim until they traveled west on the main road, and you guys went east to head towards the college. About an hour away from the college, a burst of light came from the ground. Zin's horse, and then Zin vanished from existence, disintegrated completely. You found another handful of similar raised patches of snow and set off the remaining traps without further injury. And now the 5 of you and Martin sit there at the side of the road.
Are we sure we got all the traps?
Are you asking me, or are you asking one of the party members?
I'm asking the party.
Sorry, what was your question?
Are we sure we got all the traps now?
Since you asked that, Soul, for sake of making sure, does another check for traps.
Where exactly are you checking?
Just the same area we looked over for traps before. It's like doing a one last. Let me go over it, like proofreading.
Okay, so so make an investigation check.
I have investigation for traps specifically. Can I use that instead?
Yeah, yes. Anytime you're doing it to either find or disable traps, you'll use that one, and it's just basically you have a +1 when you're working specifically about traps.
I needed the bonus.
No, you don't find anything else in the area.
Okay, so Soul's pretty confident that we got everything, and she relays that to Quark.
Also, since the last trap was that giant fireball trap, is the road still there?
The road's there. It's all the snow in a 20-foot radius is gone, but the road is there. Little scorched here and there, but yeah, it's still there.
God, that was so sudden about Zin. We do need to get back and report this. A trade road should not be mined with traps.
Agreed. And Indreki would probably kick his horse into gear and head towards the college.
So Enrique just starts going without the party, or is he saying that they should?
He's agreeing, and he kicked his horse into gear without the party.
And I'll follow along.
All right, let's go. Although I'm going to keep a hawk eye on the road up ahead to see if I can see any topological changes that might indicate other traps as we go.
Okay. Give me just a generic perception check to see if any to stand out to you. And I would think Vince would be highly on edge with his nature and doing the same. And as you guys keep your eye out, yeah, you don't notice any more of those. Assuming it was set up the same way, where that they basically tried to repack the snow, but didn't want to pack it down to set it off. They were very careful. You don't notice any more of those patches, and make to the front of the college.
Is there increased security at the college?
I wouldn't say increased security. There is, after the loud noise and bright light of the disintegration, mostly the disintegration and the fireball, about an hour down the road, people were running out confused to figure out what happened. But you don't see like an increased presence of the security staff up front.
Like nobody's anticipating somebody arriving at the college?
No, there's certainly some people milling about up there. There are definitely some faculty and some security staff there, but it's the fact that it's been an hour now by the time you guys finally get there. There probably some people went, okay, something clearly happened and blew up down the road, and or somebody
Well,
just cast fireball.
considering that somebody, yeah, considering somebody would have noticed it was about an hour away, and then we arrive an hour later. I figured somebody
Yeah,
might
there's
have been
certainly a few
waiting for us.
people looking at you and going, let's see here, who's going to be out there from the staff?
I'm actually a little surprised we didn't pass any investigators.
Well, I mean, it literally could have been bandits attacking somebody on the road and attacking the wrong group that had a wizard that's just fireball hungry. 746. Oh, this could be the worst. I think I just rolled up the worst scenario for who's out there. So you do spot Karen Turner, the freakishly tall, abnormally jacked member of the security staff, trying to corral and get students to calm down and stay back because she was getting ready to head down the road. Considering none of the librarians would have been out there, you see a little frantic, and beside him, his hair a mess, his heavy coat just tossed over his shoulders, his beard unkempt. You see Lord Collingsworth. Who looks over the group, shaking his head, and his eyes land on Martin.
Figured.
I'd probably ride up and dismount in front of them. And ask if they knew about the mines out front or not.
Collingsworth's just glaring at Martin and just turns to you. No, we did not set any mines. Just glaring at Martin. You fireball hungry bastard.
It wasn't him. It was one of the mines that we ended up setting off with an arrow. That's the fireball that you saw.
You see, he still just keeps glaring at Martin. And then back to you. You can see, now that he's right up next to you, you can clearly see the big dark circles under his eyes. He looks like he hasn't slept in days. And what are you talking about? This my work, my research.
Well, we didn't realize until too late that there were several mine traps out about an hour outside the college. We lost Zin.
You can see he just looks at you. What is Zin?
One of our companions, her horse tripped a mine in. Next thing we knew, she was gone.
Quim Fiddlesticks comes and sort of tugs on the bottom of his shirt or of his coat. Motions for him to come down. You see he starts whispering in his ear. Takes a second for sort of things to click together there. You mean Lord Thunderwater's cousin?
Aye.
You can see he looks back down at Quim and he's trying to figure out what to say. Just sort of pulls him in again. Just he's talking quietly, but you can, considering his mouth is basically against the guy's ear, he's talking very animatedly for this conversation.
Which guard is there again?
Karen.
I'd
Not too
probably
bad.
turn to Karen and be like, why the hell isn't anybody out there to make sure nobody set up traps?
And she looks at you and just goes, we are the security for the college.
On the
The
grounds
road is to the
outside the
kingdom.
college. The grounds outside the college, which is only an hour outside, don't count. The only area where any of us students are at risk.
I understand your anger. We can only do so much. Many students risk themselves daily. And you can see she sort of nods her head to the side, just trying to get out of earshot of calling you to talk to you.
I'll go with
Sort
her.
of walks away. Good 5-minute walk. Still looking back.
And Drake, yeah, we're training for a dangerous business.
I'm surprised that Karen didn't go for victim blame mentality.
You've dealt with Karen many times. Karen's the one that caught you and Zin sneaking back in by the doors. And
That
sort
makes
of
more sense.
like guided you guys in so you didn't get caught. She was also at the meeting when you had your last meeting with Tobias before he went missing.
That makes much more sense. Never mind.
And she just goes, I may not have been here, but I have certainly heard of Lord Collingsworth's opening speech to you all, where he said, look to your right, look to your left, look front and back. By the end of your time here, only one of you will remain. That is not just because students fail. Most meet an end like your friend.
Drake would probably go back to his horse and lead it to the stable. Without saying a word.
Lord Collingsworth finishes his little animated talk with Quim and says, yes, go.
Did
Go
anything
fetch Master
happen?
Ironbreaker.
Did anything happen in the week that we were gone that would have warranted somebody mining the road between here and Alwarzan?
He looks at you like, you've been gone a week?
Well, not quite. About 5 days. We were hunting
So a
owlbears.
half week. You've been gone a half week.
Well, yes.
We received a shipment 2 or 3 days ago, coming from Alrezen, meaning these had to be set up in the last day or two. Unless they just happen to not set off all of these traps.
From what we saw, the traps were
3
densely
wagons
packed.
traveling down the road.
From what we saw of the traps, they were densely packed, so I don't think it would have been possible for a wagon to not set off at least one of them.
Yes, which would imply that a day, 2 at most, since these were set. The only question is if they were set for us or set for keeping someone in or out of Alrezen.
Well, true.
Wim, go get Wilda. She will go to Alrezen. Master Ironbreaker will travel to go see King Allhammer and the girl's cousin, returning anything of family worth. And he just raises a hand to background him as Quim's just standing there. I said, come on. And the little halfling just bolts. He scratches at his unkempt beard and just, what was this you were saying about owlbears?
We took on a request to deal with an owlbear threat down near Waterchine. We're just coming back from that.
I have no time for this. Go speak with whoever gave you this job. I have much more important things to deal with.
Yes, my lord.
Aaron, go fetch Martin. And he looks at the other Martin. Not visible. Go fetch Martin and let him know that his services are needed. And you can see he just literally looks at Martin's feet. Unless you are told otherwise, you are not to step past that point onto my property. And he just marches back towards the office. Martin's just smiling, like, ah, yes, Collinsworth is back. He turns to Gargan. Has he been like this a lot recently?
Yeah, you could say he's wound up pretty tight. I guess things didn't end well the last time you saw him.
I kind of move in close to where Martin is. I'm like, there was a recent incursion of Night Rage clan a little while back.
Oh, I am well aware. Which is the only reason I sent him such kind words as I had.
'All right. Well, I for one want to get settled back in. This has been a trying few days.
2 months. It's near third.
Is it possible you're still breaking up? Yeah, I think you might still be breaking up because we haven't heard much of anything since you asked me about Collingsworth. And then you answered Clark's question briefly, but that's it. That's all we've heard. And we're hearing nothing now. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you may have cut
Okay,
out
I might have-
I think you may have cut out a ton.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is. It's just we have no way of knowing like if you're not saying it or if you are and we can't hear it.
Okay.
Because it's not always, the green
No,
light's not
I
always
have a feeling.
totally reliable.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to have to invest in a new headset in the next couple of weeks. Okay. So,
So
here. So the
maybe
last you heard was.
So you asked me about Collingsworth. I said he's been wound up pretty tight. I asked you, I said I get the sense things didn't go well the last time you two were together. And then we heard nothing. And then Quark
Okay.
updated a little bit about the attack, and you said I knew about that, but that's all we heard.
Okay. So yeah, his response to you was that he might have to take a trip back near where the tower is, back to, oh God, where is it? I need my big map. Not that one. That one. Back to Sundale, and then returning right back here.
Did he say anything
Possibly
about
to
the relationship?
he said, I believe you asked that part right around the time that Quark chimed in, and his response originally to you was, I thought we were on slightly better terms. And then looked to Quark when he asked mentioned the Night Rage, and he said he was aware, and that was the only reason he gave Lancel such kind words at the time, trying to show some understanding. Gargan, give me an insight check. It's going to be, considering this is going to basically be coming together now from years worth of conversations, I'm going to say it's an 18.
So close.
Okay, with that, you don't quite catch the exact point, but you do notice when they're on good terms, he definitely Martin speaks with a much kinder tone to him. As you remember from your vision in the fire, when they're at it, they become heated. And there is definitely, when they are not on good terms, there is definitely no loss for animosity either way. Which, taking that into account, his next words, as you sort of see him wringing his fingers together, it might be time for my old friend to retire. Yes. Yes, that might do. Did you hear that, or did I cut out again?
I heard it, but I didn't know how to respond. I think I would probably have just quietly nodded, but
He'll also look at you and go,
I don't think my character would have said anything.
clearly, he'll put a hand on your shoulder, Gark, and just go, clearly I am not going to be welcome to stay. I shall return to Orvesen for the time being. I'll be there for a few days to make some arrangements, and I shall most likely depart by the end of the week, back to Sundale.
In that case, can we get the owlbear parts?
Oh, yes.
And then I kind of shoo everybody off the wagon.
He kind of opens up his dimensional realm there and close that, close that, close that. Trying to check. Did I leave them on the ones that you kept? I'm trying to check if they're just in like the party inventory.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they're in the
I
party.
think. Yeah, I don't think we have the pelts anymore, though.
No, we sold them for
I
like
think you
61
kept.
gold, I think.
I think you kept 15 of them because you had a lot.
Yeah, we sold like
Or no,
40 of them.
Yeah, you sold. Well, I know you sold more of the meat than the pelts, but yeah, I think that's what you kept to bring back is the 25 meat and 25 chunks of meat and the 15
Right.
pelts. Considering it's not necessarily a full pelt from the big one, it was like sections because you couldn't really keep
Right.
something in one piece that size.
I thought we sold those in ores.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like
You only kept the
61
meat then.
gold.
You didn't keep any of the pelts?
I don't think so.
I think they wanted like 61 for all of it.
That would be an incredibly low price. Considering each of those 15 pelts weighs 25 pounds.
Oh, so you were doing it as if we were trying to sell half.
Yeah, I believe you sold half.
Okay. So we still have half.
Yeah, because I was pretty sure you guys wanted to see if you could make some armor out of them, and you wanted to keep the meat to see what you could do with it too. Back at the college.
Well, the meat I wanted to sell to the chef.
Yeah, the chef here. Okay, that's what it was. Okay. But yeah, I was pretty sure that was the accurate count because.
Oh yeah, we wanted to see if any of the places here wanted the pelts to make like armor and stuff like that. Yeah, you're right.
Because I don't think any of us is an armorer.
No, I started reading on. I think my book was about making basic armor and weapons.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be proficient enough.
I believe that's a smithing book, which would not. Well, I guess you could use the pelts for inner lining, but it's mostly working with metal.
Yeah. I could look for a book on leatherworking.
Yeah, and then study up on how to actually do leatherworking.
Keep a couple
80
of
to
pelts.
100, 200 hours in later.
Well,
Which is one of the reasons we didn't have salt with us.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, he sort of drops them on the wagon or no, the wagon's gone. Or no, I guess you guys would have now been because you would stabled the wagon. We said, right? Then you're
Not
probably
yet.
back over.
We're still at the entrance.
Okay, you hadn't even got a chance to go over. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
He'll load up what he can on the wagon there. Just you could hear the wheels go from the weight. He's like, I suggest you don't dally.
Yeah, Drake is the only one that left. He went and stabled his horse.
Okay, and he sort of closes his dimensional realm there, and if you need me, simply send a letter down the road. I shall. And he sort of, you can see he just sort of pulls out a dagger and sort of draws a line. Oh, amazing! He's given me 15 feet. We'll see who's laughing. But if you need me, simply reach out. That said, your emergency contact is now gone. It shall take me at least 6 months to a year to construct another one.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yes, we greatly
it was-
appreciate the help you provided.
It was really good seeing you again, too. Irrespective of the degree of danger.
You can see him looking around. I was never in danger. Very well. And you see he looks at you, and the demeanor he's been sort of putting on, this very harsh exterior, sort of softens a bit, and he simply goes, while Collingsworth is a lecture not necessarily worth his own words, do pay heed to anything said by Wilda. She's the only one here who could actually rival me in power. Even Collingsworth knows she's more powerful than him. And on that note, he gets up on his horse and I shall leave you to it. And he just starts on his horse back the road towards Alrezen.
Safe journey.
Just waves a hand behind him and just keeps going. Saul, if you're going to take this cart with all that stuff on it over, I am going to need you to make a check just to get over to the stables.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be a dex check, DC 50.
Oh, sweet. Natural 20.
So yeah, you safely navigate around. You do hear a few more of those creaks. Like this thing is
Yeah, we're probably
testing the limits of how far it can go with this much weight on it.
we're gonna need to get some maintenance done on the wagon.
Yeah, if you rolled under a 15, you still got there, but definitely going to be some very permanent damage. And if you had rolled under a 10, there would have been possibly the entire decimation of your wagon.
Yeah.
Good time for a 20.
But no, you definitely succeed. You get it in there. The guys in the stables, as you go to drop it off, look at this pile, this towering pile of pelts and bloody meat.
Yeah, that's not staying here.
They just, and that's when you see that while that's not staying, the trail of blood you've left across the floor of the stables.
Sorry about that.
This is not worth 12 silver an hour.
The good news is the
He goes
original
and starts
owners.
filling up a bucket with water.
I toss him each a gold and head back to the dorms.
Was that in Drakei?
Yeah.
Okay, one second. Let me update your sheet. Eh. There we go. Helps if I can actually hit a 9. All right. So, what are you going to be doing with the meat and pelts now?
Okay, since we're at the stables, I'm going to ask: is there a wheelbarrow I can borrow for just an hour?
They look at so this pile from the pelts probably stands about 10 feet tall right now.
Well, the pelt, yeah, but the meat wouldn't be as large.
Okay. No, it's not.
There's only 75 pounds of meat. I mean, it's not that big.
Yeah. No. He goes and grabs one, and you just see he's just looking at it like
I'll clean it before I return.
he grabs like 3 different sheets and just lays them in the bottom, trying to
Oh, much appreciated.
protect the wood as best he can, and just looks at you like grumbling away back with his little mop bucket that's now full of dirt, trying to work the blood around the straw on the stone floor.
Okay. I'm going to transfer the meat into the wheelbarrow.
Okay.
And
just
who
take
else
some
is left
time.
here? Because the pelts we have to get into the quartermaster, I think. Unless there's somebody else who wants owlbear pelts.
I mean, you could try and go to one of the skills labs to see if they want them. But unless it's something that they really would be wanting, it'd be something that they would either expect A, to be donated, or to be offered in exchange for other
Services.
in exchange for services instead.
I mean, that I don't mind doing.
Okay. So yeah, if you're heading down with the meat, are you just heading
Yeah, just
the
right
kitchen?
to the kitchen.
Yep. The chef sees you come in, and it's the same one that got turned into the icicle man before when he tried the tart. Now back to himself, and looks at you with a hint of concern.
I'm like, good day, sir. Sorry about the unusual way I'm bringing this to you, but we happen to acquire some owlbear meat. Is that something you could use in the kitchen?
You can see he stops.
Feel free to inspect the goods.
This is just owl bear meat.
Yes, it's just owlbear meat.
You see, he just looks it through, checking to make sure that it's.
It's been transported from Watershine, but it was transported in suspended stasis, so it should still be fresh.
You can see he's checking, like, yeah, it all looks good. We can certainly use it. Are you looking to sell it?
Sure. Or if there's some other service I could provide in exchange, maybe. But yeah, if you just want to buy it off us, that would be more than sufficient.
All right, I'm going to need you to make a persuasion check. This will be against his insight, so. Okay, yeah, that does not get it. So he will not trade for the services. He was a little leery about the idea of having you being involved with you in more than a transactional moment right now after
Gotcha.
his last experience. We will pay. We will pay. You can see he's checking to see the quality, sort of pokes at it with a knife to see how easily it slices.
There should be cuts from, there was a kind of a unique owlbear to some adults, and then some of the cuts will be from young.
And at that word, his face turns to you. Define unique.
Well, let's just say it was an owlbear that seemed a little more intelligent than most, and much larger than most. It wasn't just a typical pack of owlbears. The leader seemed to know martial tactics.
His eyes have just slowly and increasingly, with almost everything you say, just bulged larger and larger. After you just assured him this was a normal owlbear meat.
Well, it should be. It was an owlbear. I mean, aside from being larger than most, it didn't really have any unusual other characteristics. It was an owlbear.
I'll give you 2 gold apiece. So that'd be 50 gold for the whole lot.
Right. I'm trying to see if that would be like a good deal, or
Let me see what skills you have. I'm gonna have to say that for
considering being a follow of the Grand Trader, I should have at least some basic knowledge of just insight, whether the chef is being straight with me or not.
I'm gonna say it would. It'll just be a straight wisdom roll because it should be intelligence, but I don't want you to get a penalty for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it feels like a good deal to you.
Sure thing. Just put it into the party stash.
Yeah, I'll put it in there in a second. Oh, no, not that. All right, and that gets rid of the meat. All right. Meanwhile, back at the stables, what are you guys doing with these pelts? Or is there a plan?
we could. I guess we could first. I don't know about which order, but we could. Two things I was thinking of is find out how much the quartermaster would pay for them in cash, and then maybe even ask Wilda if the larger pelts, if there's something magical that would be useful to her.
I mean, you have a way of checking if there's innate magic.
Or, yeah, I guess. All right, I'll do my own check and see like whether it's innately magical or whether it would be useful in constructing something magical.
Yep.
All right, let's just straight up Arcana.
There's
Check.
a much easier way.
Identify.
Step before that.
Step before that. Something between Arcana check and identify.
Oh, you probably don't have it memorized.
Oh, there's another spell. Let's see. Let's go to prepare. Oh, you mean just detect magic?
There you go.
Yeah. Now, if that has the ritual tag, I probably don't need to memorize it, right?
Does
it have? Let's see. I'll have to look.
Bugger off.
Every time I click, oh, it does. Yeah, I think it is a ritual. Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
All right. I don't think we're in any rush. All right. So I'll start with detect magic as a ritual.
Okay. Okay, that is creepy.
It's really just fine.
Yeah, every All right. Ahead and burn the spell slot.
Oh, but I don't. I thought I didn't have to.
You're still using a spell. Just a ritual doesn't mean you negate using up a spell slot.
I think it does. Let me check that.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. All right. Click away.
No, it just gets around the
memorization part.
having to have it memorized.
All right.
And it takes longer to cast it then.
All right. I clicked.
Okay. So as you sort of go over, putting your hand around and trying to make sure you get all you notice that oh, actually, yeah, apparently it does not burn the spell slot. I don't know why I thought it did. Oh, probably because you can't really use it in combat because of the time restriction. Okay. So yeah. You don't expend the spell slot. You 3 of them you note are magic.
3 of the pelts. Can we? Interesting. Because you would think from the large creature, you would think for the large creature that
Remember,
would be
you had
more than
others you sold already.
right. Oh, and at this point, do we even know if it came from the large creature or not, or have they kind of gotten all mixed together?
They've sort of been all mixed together.
All right, but it's safe to assume. Well, I mean, based on the sizes and stuff, it's safe to assume that we may have sold some of some of
Some
the
others that may
pelts on
have
the
had
mark,
magical properties.
and we were lucky enough that 3 still had. All right. Well,
Yeah.
then I'll suggest that we definitely uh stop. We don't have to drag this around with us everywhere we go, but stop by Wilda first, see if this is something that they would want. If she's too busy, maybe one of her underlings, and then we could see if the quartermaster's interested in cash transaction, or if the other folks have other mentors that might be interested for other purposes.
Well, we have to visit the quartermaster to sort of turn in the quest anyway.
All right. Well, I guess you want to start with Wilda and see what they say, and then end up at the quartermaster.
Yep.
That's fine. I mean, assuming Collingsworth hasn't gotten to her and she's already left.
One sec. I'm just going to make a quick change here. So you have your 12, and then your 3. Okay, so stopping at the quartermaster, are you going to see if he'll take the 12 originals? Hello?
The quartermaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, if we're at the
I mean,
quartermaster first,
if everybody else thinks so.
yeah, I'd be okay with that. Seeing if
Okay.
they'll buy the others.
All right. Yeah, he's definitely willing to take those pelts.
Oh, which quartermaster is it right now?
3 o'clock. This would be. Oh God. This would be null. Okay. So yeah, you get up there, and null sort of walks up his little step stool onto the counter so he can examine one of these ones you brought him, so he can check the quality. See him sort of lifting it, stripping the furry consistency, and are they all like this?
They should be. They've been removed from several different like sizes of owlbear.
Yeah, you can
But
see him
yeah,
just
for
still
the
going.
most part.
Hmm. So, how many is there? 12? So, I can afford to give you 300 for this one and the rest. Or, and he sort of
Or
leans down and sort of puts a finger to get you to come close.
lean in.
I can grant you access to a slightly more private access of goods that I've come across, and grant you its full value in trade without trading coin. So, what a seller would look to do is get probably near 500 for it. No vendor is going to give you that much on trade value, but I'd even be willing to round up to the 5 on trade if you're interested.
I assume we could see what's available before deciding.
And he just sort of looks at you like, you've seen the type of goods I keep.
Well, I have no doubt as to their quality and their excellence. It would just be a matter of whether or not it was of use to us at this particular moment.
You wouldn't have to use it all right now, and if you have any gold in your pocket, it can also be used. Such a deal would also grant you access to such transactions going forward. And you see he reaches on the counter and starts counting out gold coins. What if you prefer?
Well, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but Null's been pretty reliable for this kind of thing. Personally, I don't have any immediate needs, but having access to some of his special goods would be good in the future, I believe.
So basically, we have a 500 gold piece account credit that we could essentially use
To a new specialty store.
at the new specialty store. I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
But let's see what my colleagues think.
Saul and Drake.
Oh, and Drake is not even with you guys. He went back to the dorm. But if you're asking outside of character, he
No, not
if he
yet.
was okay. If
How
he
about
was
Saul?
I mean, I'm still interested in hearing what you're saying. Enjoy
So either
I feel it's safe to say that if it's anything hush hush and private, that Vincent would be more intrigued by that aspect than the actual coin.
yeah. I kind of got that as a given. I mean, that technically is enough to sort of take the deal, but Saul, I'd still like to hear your opinion on the subject.
She'd probably be encouraging. She likes risky things. If there's the if it's like a if just her personality would make her inclined to do things. So she'd probably agree. Whoops, what's this?
I
Sorry,
think you
ignore that.
requested to know what time it was. It's 3 o'clock.
All right, Noel. Yeah, you have a deal. Let's see what you have available.
He says, "Give me a second." He reaches down, grabs a little placard, and sort of hops up and grabs this rope from the top. And you see a little cage bars come down. And he puts a back in 30 minutes sign on the quartermaster's door. Follow me. And you see he just sort of leads you down the hall about 15 feet. Presses
Following
his
him.
own talisman into the wall and walks through it. If you follow, you can walk through the wall for the next couple of minutes into.
Yep, we'll follow him.
Gargan, you're there?
Absolutely.
How tall are you again?
Well, I am.
You're almost 6 foot.
I'm something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a.
What am
Oh God, I forgot. Saul's actually 6 foot.
What is that significant here?
Quartermaster Null is about
I'm 5'10".
210.
I'm 5'10".
So he designed this place for what he felt was reasonably tall compared to him. It's you're having to.
He's like my
Gargan's
height.
head is basically touching the ceiling, and you're having to squat down a little bit to not hit your head on the ceiling as you walk down the hall.
That's so funny.
For about the first 20 feet of it before it does expand a bit, and he takes you, goes up to a locked gate or a locked door, takes out a golden key that as he puts it in the lock, flame shoots out into it as he unlocks it. And with that, shared. I'll add this to all of yours available shops. You have now all gained access to Null's true full master shop. Let me know if for any reason any of you can't open that.
I can.
Okay.
Is that Noel's secret shop?
No. Null's true full master's shop.
Noel's true.
It's in the chat at the moment.
Got it. Noel's true full master.
Yep, I got it.
And he does let you know as he starts walking down and pointing out different things on the walls. He looks at you all and goes, "You're the first freshman to get access to this in 15 years.
A true honor."
And he just sort of looks up. He goes, "Well, I figure you might as well enjoy it. You're off on summer break in a month and a half." You're close enough to sophomores. some of the stuff might still be unidentified in the shop. If it is, let me know. Some
Yeah,
of it is that way because he actually doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, I can see a couple of things.
Like, I know there's the bear fur belt that is not identified because he does not actually know what it actually is, which is why it's in this shop and not one of his other ones. He didn't want to basically make it sound like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Are the runestones full armor or no?
Let me get.
Oh, there is an item that's unidentified.
So the runestone is and isn't armor if you read the description.
so that
It's
so
you
it
would
looks
effectively put this on and have it mounted into a suit of armor.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
And I believe there's
so it's basically a way to easily carry and instantly don armor. It's not like if you don't have proficiency in armor, it's not very beneficial to you.
yeah. Well, Dawn armor is literally putting it on. Doff armor is taking it off.
It basically, allows you to instantly remove or wear armor. Like for if you're waking up, you can just instantly boom, your armor's on.
Or if you're trying to sneak in, you don't want to have negativity to your stealth check, I guess.
Yeah.
And then want to up your armor once you're bound.
Yep. That said, well, no, it becomes bound to the armor it's mounted into. So it's effectively about a fist size rock that you would then be stitched into, welded into, mounted into the chest of a suit of armor.
Okay.
That you can then, with a bonus action, blink it in, if you have it on, blink it into almost an ethereal inventory that doesn't count. And on a bonus action, completely reapply it. So if you were to do this with heavy armor, you basically negate the entire time of donning and donner, which is like 10 minutes.
Okay. So it doesn't add armor, just
No.
what armor you're wearing. It just automatically takes it off or puts it on. Okay, I got it.
Yes, it could also allow you, if you say needed something for when you're needing to be stealthy and something for when you're fighting, have one of them with the stone embedded, and the other one you can take off as needed. Because you can only wear one suit at a time.
There is an item at the bottom that's unidentified.
Well, actually, there's a significant number of these things that are unidentified.
It's 8 of them, but it actually says unidentified.
Oh, one of them actually still says unidentified instead of its unidentified name. One sec. What's the price?
80 gold.
80 gold.
It's right above the yellowish white.
That's
summary.
identified now. I don't know why it wasn't checked before. Quark's going to jump away. It's actually a cold iron arrow. 5 of them. Yeah, if anything's showing up just with the words unidentified item, tell me the price. Actually, yeah, this would be a real easy one. I don't know why it's like this. That would help. I found one. It wasn't mislabeled. It was mispriced. It was just it didn't actually have what type of coins that was.
Oh, there's a well-polished mace.
How much?
400 gold. Doesn't tell me.
That should be identified, actually.
Well,
is it not?
No, all it says is a polished mace. Doesn't give me anything
Okay, wait,
else.
but you said 400. Is it 403 or is it like just short of 400?
403. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
Oh.
that is identified. I can see it.
Maybe close the shop and reopen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the difference between the red and the green dragon head in front of as far as the icon?
Green is usually shared already, and red means it has not been.
Because this one's still red, but it seems to open.
Yeah, I'm still getting the same description. Just a well-polished mace. Then when I click on it, simple melee weapons, uncommon.
Maybe it's not fully shared or something.
For 403 gold pieces, it's like second item from the top.
Okay, I unidentified and re-identified it, and it's public, so can't see it right now.
Drake, yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I just dropped it on you. I'm like, it should be showing up for you. I don't know why it wasn't.
I can definitely see a few things that I might be interested in, just not at the moment.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm really interested in is the mace.
So I'm not an armor. I know I'm not an armor guy, but that runestone of bound armor, that unless I'm missing something, for the price, it sounds outstanding. And what am I missing?
It's an accessory for a piece of armor.
Yes. Also, I think the only one in the party that uses heavy armor that would be effective would be in Drakei.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think you use heavy armor anymore. I think you're in medium, aren't you?
Still, it
Did you
does
switch
take
to
an obscene
ringmail?
amount of time to get it on, though.
Mm-hmm. And if I want to upgrade to heavy armor, it would be good to bind it to a better set than what I have now.
And it would be the whole suit, right? It wouldn't be just like one piece,
Nope,
right? It
it's
would
the
be
whole
the full
suit.
set, right? So that means you could literally run around without armor, sleep, and with a bonus action, be fully armed at any time. Or if you fell in water, you'd be able to pretty much undo it instantly.
Yeah, effectively, you could don full plate from sleeping without armor in about 2 seconds.
Yeah. Again, like I said, on the surface, it looks.
Now that's if
an
you have the
amazing
appropriate armor to make it worth it. If you're running
Right.
around in like leather or
leather. I mean,
or hide, not as big.
Yeah, I got scale
even if
mail
it was
on.
just like a breastplate, you're probably not really going to get the full value out of it. It is certainly something that would lean more towards somebody who's in heavy armor.
Mm-hmm.
That said, Null will point out that he does restock this room often
Mm-hmm.
with new eccentricities he finds.
Oh.
Sounds great.
Also, check the description of the chain shirt of cushioning. It looks like there might be a typo too, related to if it's helpful with bludgeoning or not helpful, and whether it's vulnerable or invulnerable.
Okay,
I have a sense
so
there's a mismatch
what
there.
it does. It grants resistance to damage from slashing weapons, but vulnerability to bludgeoning. So you take half damage from the damage on slashing weapons and double from bludgeoning.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and so the in is just a little typo there. I mean, we know what it means, but
yeah,
it's.
I am really interested on the mace.
Actually, that mace is only magical during the day.
Depending on the lighting, right?
Depending on the lighting, yeah. Like if it's at night and you're in the presence of a daylight spell, it would work.
That's true. I can see what he has next time.
Yeah, you'll notice he has a bunch of those items geared towards right now the weather and conditions around you.
Like the fine chainmail armor, that's super expensive. We can't afford that right now. Like it would take like almost all of our reward.
Chainmail.
It's right under the cross.
Oh, there it is.
You're talking about the chain shirt of force resistance? Or?
Yeah, I think that's the one he's talking about.
Oh. No, it says fine chainmail armor on mine. It's right below crossbow.
How much is it?
1,908 gold.
1098?
No, 1908 gold pieces.
I don't see anything
I'm not
like that.
Seeing this. What store are you? Are you sure you're in the right store?
You said the master shop, right?
Null's true full master shop.
Oh, okay. I am totally in the wrong one. All right, that would make sense. That's why I'm seeing stuff that you guys aren't seeing, because I clicked on the wrong one. I saw master shop and clicked it.
Yeah, he has like 5 of them. The first one was literally a box he kept under the counter of like stuff the way you first gain his trust. Yeah, and like obviously he has that hike that you guys can not even come close to affording right now.
Right. The short sword made of dark bluish metal, is that cold iron too?
Price?
187?
Here it is. Yes, it is, which means that Quark has now identified that as soon as he saw it.
As soon as I get it.
So yeah, there's a short sword and 5, is that arrows or crossbow bolts? Arrows that you just keep seeing Quark recoil and hiss.
So glad I'm not there, because that didn't end well last time for me.
Is there anything else that you're
It's a poor man's identify.
to very specific items?
Oh, so that chain shirt made of silvery blue metal is probably cold iron as well, isn't it?
No, it's not bluish.
Oh, it says silvery blue. I didn't know
Oh, well, maybe.
if... Quark.
3618?
Yeah.
3618? No.
Oh.
You do not react the same way. This is silvery blue. The others are, I believe, is it
Just bluish
silver?
metal. Dark
Yeah.
bluish metal.
Dark bluish, whereas the silvery blue would be silver with just almost hints of blue in it.
Don't we still have that sort of cold iron that Soul
Sol
has?
should still have it.
In her
Yes.
room, at least?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think we can really afford anything
While you're
right
looking
now.
around, Null is going to ask, so how many did you fight?
There was one uniquely giant-sized one. I think 3 adults and about half a dozen babies.
You see Null's eyes go large, and he starts licking his lips to find the big one.
Well, the best way I can describe it is it was half again as large as the largest adult you typically would see. It seemed to have an intelligence beyond that of a beast, and it was employing modern martial tactics. But it was still essentially the mother of the, I don't know, I guess you could say brood of owlbears.
Okay, 1 second. Just going to have y'all look at the chat in a second.
Well, I can't read that language clearly.
I just got to check if Vincent understands as well or not.
It's what, gnomish, I'm guessing?
It is. And yes, he does know it. So yes, those two understand what was just said. Quark, that he sort of freezes in place. And looks at Vincent, who's also just sort of staring at him, and
Did we separate out the magical pelts?
Yes.
What do we do with them?
I think those ones. Well, this is he would have made this agreement to you based on the quality of the ones you brought. So it was just
Right.
assumed that you've gotten the money for these, but you still haven't brought up the other 11 of those or the magical ones upstairs.
Upstairs. Did we take
Because,
them?
well, the stables are technically on the. I guess the stables are on the second floor, and the quartermaster is on the third. So you would have carried just one of the pelts to bring over to the non-magical ones to the quartermaster to show the quality of what
Okay.
you like.
But we're still in possession of them?
Yes. Quark, when you say that, you see him just start biting on his lip.
One second, checking notes.
Well, that's not good. Huh. I think I'm going to have to fix one of my extensions. Anybody who's looking at Null, his face goes pale.
Does anybody remember the name of the vendor that we dealt with at in Alverzen when we sold the pelts? I'm asking the party in common.
No, I don't. I tend to not remember vendor names. Did we get a store for it, or was it just like the exchange?
It was Deepwater's World of Wonders.
Yeah.
He drops speaking in Gnomish and switches to Common. Did Deepwater see you? Has he had a... When did you sell them? Has he had a chance to examine them?
I couldn't say for sure if he's had a chance to examine them, but we sold them less than a day ago. No
Did
one
he see...
introduced themselves as Deepwater.
Did they see your faces all clearly?
The guards outside did, but aside from the vendor himself, I basically they were just kind of dealing with us as like normal, just customers. Whether they were paying attention, I couldn't say for sure. I mean, I'm unique enough that they would remember me, but
Did you... Did you enter through the front or the back of the building? Did you ever go underground?
I remember the encounter.
He sort of looks at the rest of you and goes, you would have remembered if you did. Your lives are in danger.
I would say we dealt with their general marketplace there.
You can see he's just sort of nodding along like, did you ever mention the college?
I didn't.
You said all the pelts were that quality. Did any of them come from her?
I mean, we sold like some regular, and
that you just sold to me.
some of them were that I sold to you just now. Those were the regular ones. Those were just from the adults and the young
You can
ones.
see he just starts running his fingers there. So you knew what you were selling?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it's what I brought you. The sample that I brought you was from one of the adults.
How do you know that?
Well, according to my friend here, the ones that were from her uh, are can be detected through detect magic.
And you sold them to Deepwater.
We didn't realize that until we arrived at the college here.
Unbelievable.
No, you've known us for a while now. If we assure you we will deal with you in good faith, can you maybe be a little less cryptic and provide us with some context so we can actually help you?
Certainly, you're all gonna die.
Elaborate.
What you killed, what you found. She is called an Ancient One.
An ancient one?
Yes. Uh, her kind. Hmm, they are common across the ocean to the west. Or sorry, to the east, sorry. In the Grand Forest. They are said to be the guardians. Deepwater may be a reputable businessman to most. One of the founding members of the Eastern Trade Community itself. To those of us that know better, he is the devil himself. Did you ever
Well,
ask yourselves why the Eastern Trade Community controls 90% of the trade of goods in all of Faldarish?
I kind of figured that their trade practices were probably more ruthless than most.
Most of the goods that they bring in is from Toja's Din. They control the ocean. They do not allow others to travel there. They'll sink any ship that gets in the way of their trade. They controlled the marketplace through violence, until all others conceded that it would just be followed. If an Ancient One was in Faldarish, it means the creatures, possibly other things, that are the founding sources of these magics, have found their way to Faldarish. Their existence puts the ETC at risk. If you build a funnel to funnel grain into a tiny cup, and somebody puts a cup to the side and waits hoping something splashes off the top, that's fine. If they jam a spout in it and create another funnel into that other cup, what will the maker of the spout do?
I see what you're saying.
The reason I asked if you went underground, the other things that would have been for sale, you would remember them.
Then no, we
As
didn't.
they would have screamed at you to free them.
Aha.
Figured as much.
The ETC now controls over 70% of all coin in Faldarish. If they were to refuse to accept coin and only accept their trade bars, gold would be worth what copper is. This is the power of the ETC. Deepwater is no mere merchant. He is a terrifying sorcerer. And if he knows what those pelts are, and I would give him 3 or 4 days tops unless they sell them assuming they're just owlbear pelts, and all of them are moved. Your lives are all in danger.
Well, in that case, do you have any advice for us?
He looks you over. Shave yourself and see if that makes them not recognize you. The rest of you, run, dive headfirst into the ocean and see if you live. These sound like safer fates.
Is that because the assumption is that we receive these pelts by trade and
No. The sheer fact that she was here is something that should not happen. Where you say you traveled to, basically the heart of Faldarish, about as center as you can get in the north. This is a creature that has never been seen short of 6,000 or 7,000 miles across an ocean to the east.
Any idea why she would be here?
Wait, you said there was small ones.
Yes.
Were they her children?
He was behaving as such, yes.
It was long said that they would travel a great distance to protect their young when they are little, just prior to giving birth. If she swam the length of an ocean, but how could she hide? She's He would see her over the trees.
Well, not all of the trees. She was about 18 feet tall. And she and her brood were raiding the trade routes between Ulverzen and Watershine. We simply took on a quest to help protect the trade routes.
He wouldn't have.
No, I think the
If
part where
he had brought her here, to then sway her in some manner and allow only his goods to travel, even he would think he could control her. Ooh. If she came on her own, how could she hide? If she traveled, where was her nest?
We didn't actually see her nest, but she didn't always appear with her young. But best guess, she nested in the mountains just west of Watershine.
She lived in the wall?
Or at least in a cave in the wall, possibly. Like I said, we never really found where she nested. We were only tracking her movements to try and intercept.
That is information he would kill for.
I mean, she had been terrorizing the trade lane between Watershine and Ulverzen for quite a while. Several other parties were killed trying to deal with her.
He just looks over all you. Have any of you traveled through the Wall Mountains or only around it?
I know I haven't.
I don't think we went through.
Are any of us from south of the wall?
And Drakei and Garganar,
Yeah.
but they both traveled around.
Okay.
So
no, none of you have ever traveled through the Wall Mountains.
So I have two thoughts to share with the party. Maybe it's just obvious, but I'm kind of a simple guy. So he's basically telling us that the sorcerer who runs that massive trade place we went to, more likely than not, brought the owlbear here to be his agent and disrupt other trade. And by killing it, we massively screwed up his plans and probably a huge investment on his part. And then the other piece is that
this is one of the theories he threw. He's thrown out about 3 so far.
okay, so that's one theory my simple mind picked up. The other is that there may be a lair somewhere that we didn't have time to or the foresight to look for that might house a substantial treasure trove that's probably somewhere in the path between the mountains.
Or at least clues as to how she got here.
Right. And then, well, I didn't. That was the only theory I picked up as why someone would want to kill us. I can't. I didn't. I don't know if the rest of you picked up other theories. So one is he's pissed that we screwed up his plans.
Or will be once he figures out what those pelts are when he inspects them or has someone else confirm what they are.
I'd probably be pretty dangerous to try to run back there and try to buy them fast for real cheap. So what were the other things he mentioned as far as what would put our lives in danger?
That if he didn't bring her here and she came on her own, and he's now has to deal with the fact that there is a way for the goods that they have basically cornered on the market. Almost 95% of all magical items that are traded
Go through
on
the
the entire
ETC.
continent were forged on Toja's Din and then brought across by the Eastern Trade Company. So if the materials for said magic items suddenly start appearing here as well, their cornering of the market is gone. Picture how a corporation who owns a complete and absolute sole monopoly on trade goods would react if a dozen competitors suddenly showed up with the same quality of goods they had. Or the fear being that that's what could happen.
So you're saying he still was taking advantage of the owlbear's existence, whether he
He might
physically
not have
brought it
known
here
about
or
it.
not.
Well, that's it. If he brought it here, he knew. If not, when he sees that pelt, he can figure out that it was one of these ancient ones.
And that's why he's been so successful.
Well, not just him. He is one of the founders of the Eastern Trade Community. He effectively is one of the 3 governors who runs an entire nation that controls all the trade across all the other nations on Faldarish.
I'm just trying to connect the killing of this owlbear to his wrath, and I got one theory for it, but I'm not picking up the others.
Most of what you're getting is it would be 90% irrational fear and maybe a 10% chance of a rational idea, but that any of these fears is because it threatens his business.
The death of the owlbear threatens his business.
The existence of the owlbear on this continent. Now, if he brought it here and it was doing his bidding, its death has definitely drawn eyes to whoever they can track down to say, oh, this is who killed it. If he didn't bring it here, his eyes are now looking for how did it get here, who knew about it, and what happened to anything that was from it.
Okay, all right. So the other theory would be he'd want information. He'd want to squeeze information out of us.
And while he is effectively, like I said, one of the governors of the nation that controls all trade, which is directly to the east of New Hope, he runs this large complex in the largest city in the known world. And what Null has also hinted at is in the basement is another store that deals in anything that would not have been allowed to be sold.
Right. Sounds like Wilda for sure is going to have to be updated here. I'm not saying that out loud.
Okay. I was going to say something.
No, there's no way I'm telling Null that. I said we'd act in good faith. I didn't say we would be sworn to secrecy from him.
And basically, his two options on how you can try and avoid detection: one, Quark can shave off all of his fur and hope no one recognizes him as the same thing. And the rest of you that can't just shave off all your fur can jump into a frozen ocean and try and swim across it in hopes that you live. Because you have a better odds of surviving that than surviving what's coming.
Appreciate the advice. So would selling this put you in danger if you had this in your store?
I know what it is, and if I were to sell it, it would not be to anything that could be traced to me. I made that mistake before, and that's how you had to deliver on my debt to Mr. Wolf. That is another man not to cross. His would be less flaying you alive and more making you work off a debt 10 times what it was paid.
Well, I'm still unconvinced that we're in as much danger as you say. Mostly because we just basically, kind of just described ourselves as kind of like a group of adventurers who just, finished a hunt. So unless Deepwater's rank and file is familiar with any plans that he might have, here in this area, then I don't think this will come to his attention.
Yeah,
I
I wouldn't
pray
go
you are
shaving.
right.
I wouldn't go shaving just yet either.
Besides, even if I shaved, I don't want to scare my mom more than I already have.
Exactly.
With Deepwater, the pain might not come to you. Your mother and the rest of your loved ones would also be in danger.
I hear you, and I will inform her.
His eyes go big. You cannot go around just spreading the word of this. Oh my God. How have any of you lived? Do you just go around waving a bag of coin? I have 10,000 gold in my pocket. Ha 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 ha, as you walk down the street?
My mother knows the value of discretion.
How many of the pelts from her did you have?
I believe we currently have 3.
I will add full trade value for all three. So another 750. That'll bring your credit up to 1,050.
I just tap Quark's arm to just remind him that we're still going to show this to Wilda before making any final deal for it. But we could go back and
I'm like, yeah, I'm aware.
let him know. Yeah.
So you're actually having this conversation?
No, I just kind of nod at him like I get it.
I tapped his arm and he nodded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because remember, we don't have it with us, so it's not like he doesn't know where we're. When we turn around, he doesn't know exactly where we're going. So.
Yeah.
For the moment, we can't accept that deal, but we will definitely keep it in mind. And I'll advise you shortly of what we deal, or of whether we accept it or not.
Okay. So is there anything you were grabbing right now, or just
I don't need anything from
hold on to your
the
credit
store
for now? If there's anything in particular that you are looking for, let me know. I can try and ask about getting some things in that you didn't see. Crossbows, axes, various other armors. Looks at you, Gargan. Perhaps certain materials that are required for some of your intricacies.
Appreciate it.
He looks around. That said, as you can see, everything here is a finished product. I do not keep raw materials in here. That's only in my other storage areas. However, I will honor the credit value in any of them.
We appreciate that.
So if we're done, I'll take you back out and I'll reopen the stove before Strand gets in.
Thank you very much for the advice. We will take it to heart.
So he leads you back out again, touches his talisman to the wall on the inside this time, and you can see he doesn't step through right away. He just sort of listens, and then he steps through. Telling you, hurry, hurry, hurry. Actually, let me...
All right, next up, Wilda.
Okay. If you hurry, you might be able to catch her in the Arcana Skills Lab before she leaves there for the end of the day.
We hurry.
Okay.
Or at the very least, I hurry with Gargan.
Yeah, I don't know where Saul went. Vincent? I don't know if Vincent would have gone back to his room or if he would be sticking with you. We'll say odds he sticks with you guys. Okay, he sticks with the two of you. Saul, you there?
Yep.
Were you sticking with them to go see Wilda?
Yeah.
Okay. There. All right, so you make it over to the skills building. There's two students sitting in the back, writing some sort of scribbling something in their grimoires. Wilda just sitting there at the front of the class.
Okay, before we get in there, I'm going to mention to the others. Let's not reveal what Null told us yet to Wilda. See if she can corroborate it independently.
To an
Agreed.
extent. Yeah, I was going to say, as long as I don't feel like I'm,
No, we're not going to be. We're
you know,
not going to betray his trust. I just want
yeah,
to see if Wilda can come or can basically provide us with this knowledge independent of us telling her hints about it.
okay, all right. Fair enough, but it would still be okay to telegraph early that we think this is of a high magnitude.
Yeah.
All right.
If she doesn't immediately, come to the knowledge, then I think we should tell her.
Okay. I'm curious as well.
I just want to see if she thinks that the threat is as dire as Null thinks it is.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay.
So you, all of you going into her classroom. Actually, Enrique, were you with them?
No, he said he went back to his room.
He went back to his room. Okay.
So,
1 sec. I
what
need to
I
check.
so I suggest to the others that like we can all enter the room, but that they let me go up to her desk by myself.
Okay.
And, and I go up and in a fairly soft tone, it's sort of very brief pleasantries, and then say my comrades and I have something very serious to discuss with you. But if it's okay with you, I think it would be better discussed in private.
She looks at you and looks at the class and goes, they should both be done by the end of the hour, if you wish to come back then.
Absolutely.
So you get 45 minutes to go kill. I don't know if you're going to leave the building, go back to the dorms, or just wait it out.
Honestly, I want to go check in, get our stipend, see if my mom sent any mail, that kind of thing.
Okay. So we'll cross off the 45 minutes, and I will go apply everybody's stipend.
Yeah, my character would probably just sit outside the room, sit on the floor to the side of the door, and literally wait.
Enrique, I had just dropped off your coin and credits, and that I need Gargan inventory. Okay, your coin and credits, and you also got 4 dust added to the total.
Thanks, Martin.
He's not there.
I know.
Quark, I need your. There we go. No letter this time, Quark.
So she's still out, and Dad decided not to write me.
Saul. No letter or strange items for you, just your coin stipend.
Okay.
And I will need to make a note so Vincent knows his stipend was there.
So that just got automatically applied to our inventories?
Yeah, should have added to all the coin amounts.
Okay.
And you should all see your dorm credits have gone up too by the whatever the amounts were.
But we didn't split the party sheet yet, right? All the gold made
No.
so far from
No, there's still
that's
like
still there.
2,000 something gold in there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, mine only had the letter and the gold, correct? I didn't have anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm done my book, I would probably bring that back to the library. The simple weapons and how to craft. Because you said I was done reading that.
Yep.
And did I ever finish the Owlbear book?
I don't know. 1 second. I gotta. Okay. All right. Now that's fixed. Save so he knows what was in there. Okay. Oh, and I'll pay out his gem quest money to him as well, just so I can mark that it's done. And that is completed. Okay. Oh, I'm so used to F2 just entering edit mode for stuff. All right. There we go. So yeah, unless anybody has questions about your stipends, 5 o'clock rolls around and you can head back to Wilda's classroom.
Okay.
Yep. I'll wait outside and wait for the students to stream out.
Drake,
Okay.
I probably would head to the prayer hall after. Because I have no idea what's going on.
Yep. Vincent, I don't know if he would actually bother following up on. Actually, yeah, he kind of wants to see if she knows about. He would want to know if she knows anything about deep water, because that seems like information that would be useful. Saul, are you going with them or going to eat or?
Should probably go get a bite.
Okay, so you're going to go to lunch, and Drake, I was going to go to the prayer hall, and then Vincent, Quark, and Gargan would go see Wilda. Okay. Only one of those interactions needs anything immediate to check on. Actually, Enrique, were you just going there to check in on if there's anything you could help with?
No, I was going to go there to pray.
Oh, then no, I don't have to do anything with that. All right, so the three of you back with Wilda. You can see one of the students was already gone. Another one is just saying goodbye to her, packing up their stuff, and takes him about 5 minutes to get out, but he leaves, and it's the three of you with Wilda.
Yeah, so now I guess we all come in, and I check with her and ask if this is okay to come in.
She nods, yes.
Yeah, all right. And so Wilda, we recently went on a mission to near Watershine, and what started off as basically what we thought would be just simply dealing with some owlbears that were terrorizing a fishing community. It turned into something that we suspect is far, far greater than ourselves. Um, when we finally found the owlbear enclave, which was right near the mountains, I assume the mountains is enough to know what we're talking about.
Yep.
We discovered that the pack of owlbears was led by an enormous owlbear that seemed to have intelligence far beyond that of any owlbear that I've ever heard or read of. Um, Not only was it enormous, but it seemed to have tactical intelligence. Seemed to care about its children,
Well,
and
that's normal.
most importantly, its coat radiates magic. And we're we initially we wanted to know if you thought the pelt was something that you could use, but we're concerned that it's bigger than just that. And Martin says hi.
Did you have a rough childhood, Gargan?
She was just nodding along to all of it. When you get to the last part, she gives some kind of reaction, and then nods her head, and you can see she's just trying to put together everything that you've just babbled out in this never-ending stream.
And out of character, I had a fantastic childhood.
No, did Gargan have a rough childhood?
I think Kirk and I have no idea.
Because you kind of told Wilda that it was a surprise that mothers cared for their children.
I mean, to be
I meant
fair,
in an intelligent way, But I know what you're saying. I just wanted to say stuff.
not all family structures are created equally there, Quark. All right. Wilda will simply. She is trying to absorb. As this was just like, bam, bam. I've I've read about rare occurrences where this was said to be. Uh, at least I've heard of some creatures randomly having pelts and fangs, eyes, various materials that were found to be of some magical nature. And I'm sure there is some variance in the size of such creatures. How much larger was it? Another a foot, 100 pounds?
Try half again as large as the typical largest owlbear you could think of.
I think the going number is 18 feet high.
You have come to Wilda with a number of things, and short of the time she disintegrated that bag of squirrel parts, she has like rolled with the punches on 99% of everything that you've ever come to her for. On hearing that, her jaw just falls open like,
Oh, it's about time.
Yes, that was our reaction when we saw it too.
And that connects to why Martin says hi, but that's another story.
I'm going to need the three of you that are there to make perception checks. Oh, God, his is terrible.
It's always the worst check.
The DC is an 18.
Something tells me the owl can't help with this one.
The owl cannot help with this.
Oh. Feywild risky creature in play? Probably not.
No.
I'm not going to be
Okay.
helping them.
Clark. Not sure if it's going to be too much help to you. Okay.
That was after my comment for how large the owlbear was.
No.
Oh, for my other one. Okay, gotcha.
No. This was from Gargan's comment.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm like, technically it was him, but I figured you're all basically sitting there watching her, so I figured I'd give you all a chance. That's why I'm like, I don't know if it would play the same to anyone else to understand what that means. But it's information you get.
Okay.
And she just goes, well, I'm sure I can go look up something and give me 2 or 3 days and I'll see if I can find any old texts mentioning any such an owlbear getting to such size.
Can I do an insight check? Because I think she's
Sure.
in a respectful way. I think she's bullshit. She's shitting us.
Just that they don't have it easily accessible. It's no, she seems to legitimately just be like, yeah. Like,
so that insight check, basically, right now I'm thinking that she was just shocked at the size, but other than that, made no other
Pretty
links to
much.
anything. She was just alarmed that it was so huge. Well, I turned to Quark with a look for permission to start sharing.
We may have some additional information.
Why don't you share that with her?
It
she
was
turns
brought
to
to
you.
it was brought to our attention that the creature might be not just larger than most, but unique in a sort of mystical way. And that killing it may be problematic.
Well,
Or
if the
having killed
creature
it?
is a threat, it should be dealt with. I'm assuming that if you left the campus, this was a job from someone on the campus.
Yes.
Very well.
Let's just say the concern was that it may have something to deal with the ETC.
How so?
Well, the initial quest was given to us as this group of owlbears was disrupting trade going into Watershine.
And you've dealt with the problem. Trade is open.
Yes.
But
It was suggested to us that the trade disruption might not be accidental. And by killing the owlbears, we may be in some danger.
Okay, let me get this straight. You received a quest from the college to go kill owlbears. You did.
Yes. Yes.
When I saw Mr. Goggin come in, I assumed this was about the bevy of magical traps that went off on the road, apparently down approaching the college. Now you tell me someone is trying to disrupt trade, which that certainly would have done so within a few hours, if not by the morning. Either
No.
approaching this college or coming out into or out of Arborzen in general.
No, not the traps, the owlbears themselves. They had been disrupting trade to Watershine for an extended period of time, which is why the quest was given out.
Well, yes, you could route wild animals to push towards an area and cause some disruption, I'm sure.
Except the leader of these wild animals was not entirely wild. It seemed to be rudimentarily intelligent and capable of strategic thinking.
That phrasing piques an interest.
Or
Well,
at the
that would
very
at
least
least
tactical
narrow
thinking.
down my search. Okay. That will help narrow down my search. So they behaved not as individuals, but almost as a pack?
Well, when the normal adults were out hunting, they would behave like normal owlbears. When the matron was there, the unique creature, they would behave like a small party of combatants, um, capable of ambushes um, and tactical, combat tactics.
Hmm.
We did witness this ourselves in that um, she managed to split up our group fairly effectively, which led to more casualties than we were expecting.
That certainly will give me some additional details to look up. I do not know. No, I'd have to. Did you bring? Well, obviously you didn't bring a 18-foot owl bear back to the campus. What did you do to dispose of the body?
Well, we took some of the meat, gave some of it to Watershine because they were hadn't received food shipments in a while. I sold the rest of the meat to the kitchen here. We sold some of the owlbear pelts in Ulrazen and some here. We still have samples of the unique creature's pelt with us.
Where is that currently?
It's currently being held in the stables.
And you can see she grabs a large winter coat and puts it on over top of her robes and says, "By all means, let us go look. I'll see what's so special."
Alrighty. We'll lead her down to where the pelts are.
Yep. Between the time talking and traveling there, we'll say it takes about 25 minutes to get over there. So she looks at them and... All right, let us see. Uh, you watch as she sets about laying out bundles of incense bunched around, tied up out of the in little smoker pits and draws out 4 strips of ivory that she sets, one next to each of the incense packets or incense bundles, lights them all, and begins to cast a spell inside of a circle she's drawn around it.
Do I recognize the spell?
Make an Arcana check.
So it's clearly not one of the simple spells that I've been using.
No, DC is going to be 18. For this, I would not say that you could use one of your brilliant academics. Actually-
Dad, I had my hand on the die.
Actually, sorry, you do have your spell detection separate one. So I'll let you use a brilliant academic if you want,
Okay.
because you have that specialty, even though it's the exact same
Fair
check
enough.
currently.
Well, see, it's not a given, that's for sure. Nope. Just missed it.
Nope. So you don't quite get there. You can see these things keep smoking, and she's sitting there for 10 minutes. After which time her eyes go solid blue and glow.
Way cool.
She stays that way for maybe about 10-15 seconds, and then her eyes go back to normal, and you watch as all of the incense and the ivory around her just vanishes. And she's just staring forward now, like, jaw hanging open.
I'm thinking to myself, do we have her attention now?
Where the devil did you come from?
What did you find?
She appeared to have come from up the mountain and traveled to the base, possibly to make sure that her young did not fall. While waiting to give birth to her young ones, that is when she grew. And grew.
It's Clifford.
And that is when she started to teach them. Not even a year ago, she would have been just normal. But what
Can you
happened?
tell where she came? Can you tell where she came from before the mountain?
Well, she was in the woods. My best guess on the path she recalled, although there were certainly numerous instances where she circled for days, months even, through the mountain. Gargan, at this level of detail, you're probably starting to figure out what the spell was.
So you're saying that she was native to the region, but then spontaneously evolved?
Uh, well, yes.
The spell.
I would guess that it was somewhere between Valdon and Sundale.
So on the other side of the wall.
Yes, she traveled. She traversed the entire complexity of the wall mountains.
Hmm.
It was a tireless journey. I dare say it took her months. Although it's also hard to say, as prior to the cave, her mind was very erratic. It's trying to piece together what she would remember of a happy day finding good food to starving for 5 days almost and finding nothing in the frozen tundra miles up in the mountains. But yes, I'd say it was upon her arrival, unless it's something that happened along the way and simply started to be once she relaxed as she was able to find a cave to settle into.
This was legend lore.
Yes. This is how she picked up so much information.
Yes.
So basically, her attacking the trade road to Watershine was just an easy source of food?
I'd say yes. I'd say she originally started hunting deer and bears to feed her young, and she started to recognize the pattern and frequency when travelers would be there, especially larger caravans carrying vast quantities of meat. They would wait for them and then take the meat and the
Okay.
merchants and guards and feast.
Does she have any memory of why she grew or any memories of any interactions with another powerful being that would probably be in the forefront of
None.
anyone's memory?
None. She fell asleep and grew 5 feet overnight once. Got very skinny. And then she had to start eating more well.
And this happened to her in the middle of the mountains?
Prior to her becoming what you saw, her brain was no different than any other owlbear's, little more than a wild animal.
And what could change an owlbear to be able to do this?
Well, there's always been stories of strange things from anything that travels through the Wall Mountains, which is why 90% of, well, 99.9% of all travel is done around the wall.
Yes, of course.
You can only take so many of the stories to heart. Many have been found to be very false, and they simply got scared off by something and retreated as many would at the sight of shadows and unknown creatures in the mountains.
I see.
Random storms, especially near the peak, there is often lightning strikes. Not bright, pitch black lightning that strikes the top of the mountain.
That's odd.
I didn't say they all were absurd. I simply said that you have to take some of them with a grain of salt.
Well, in my experience with magic, I would tend to agree. So I kind of look over at Gargan and Vincent. I'm like, so would there be any problem with us selling these pelts? Since I don't think any one of our party is skilled enough to do anything with them.
Yeah. For example, are they of value to you magically?
To research about them, I'm sure. Beyond that, not in particular.
Uh, I give Quark a look. I won't say what the look is supposed to say. I'm gonna let him guess and see what he says.
Describe the look.
like like a should we?
I'll give them. I'm like, if you want.
I think if there's like a danger, I think we're obligated to tell her. You're okay with it?
I'm like, if you like, but I don't think that it's as dire as he thought it was.
Unless a powerful sorcerer made this thing grow.
Um, Nothing in her memory suggests that. But I suppose anything is possible. But it would have been more than just making her grow. It would have been completely altering what she was.
Right.
Physically, that would be possible, but I. The best way I could describe it, Master Gargan, is it's as if she evolved 5 to 10 generations in a week. Picture the actions and behavior of oh, Young? No. Of honestly a baby dragon. Barely past a hatchling. Evolving into an ancient dragon in the course of a week. That would probably be the closest that I could explain for this. I am. Well, you could age her, I'm sure. I've, I'm not familiar with a spell that exists that is capable of doing such a thing.
And yet, it happened.
Either it happened, or something in the mountains caused this, or something else that was powerful enough to block out my sight. In any of those cases, I would need to research it further to have any clue.
All right.
Quark, anything you want to add at this time?
No, I would just thank you very much for your time and for your wisdom and insight here. It does answer some questions, but we have other questions that need a different expertise.
That is fine. If you'll excuse me, I suspect Umbers is waiting for me. And she pauses as she goes to leave and looks back at you, Gargan, and says, "But do tell Martin hello." And leaves.
Sure. I sure will. Thank you.
All right, Gargan. I don't think that what Null thinks happened.
Yeah, my thing was I wasn't ready to sort of just, you know, potentially throw Null under the bus. So, I don't know. I was coming here with the intention of just telling her everything, but like you were alluding to, she was um so distant from that, had absolutely no clue about the other ramifications that I
Right.
just
But
it just didn't
yeah,
feel right to say it now, if that
what
makes
she
sense.
told us basically stated that the owlbear was local to the region, even though it came from originally from the other side of the wall. Um,
Uh, so, who's proficient with nature?
I'm almost
That might
proficient
be.
with nature.
Uh, I'll let you attempt this then, Quark. Vincent does not, apparently. And neither is Gargan. DC for this is actually not going to be that bad. It's going to be a 13.
And is this a nature check or a New Hope nature check?
This would be nature.
Okay. Seriously? Twice in one?
Nah, it's you you try and think about this really hard of what it really means, and no.
My brain got a hairball.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
just
maybe
kind
you
of
should
shake
listen
it
to
off.
Null. Maybe shave, get the hair out of yours.
At this point, I think it would be safe enough to sell the pelts to Null. Although I am considering maybe giving one of them to Wilda.
Yes, let's do that for the research. Let her do research on one. And I can't imagine the research being any better with more than that.
Okay.
So when you go, you know you have to hurry because
Yeah.
Null will be switching within the next 30 minutes.
We
Assuming
hurry.
Strand doesn't
Yeah.
show up early.
We're doing a lot of running. All
Actually,
right.
those pelts weigh how much per pelt? 25?
25 pounds.
Okay. You okay with me negotiating with Null?
Yep.
'Cause I can run it over right now.
Let's run over.
No, I mean faster than you.
I'll follow.
I mean, can
So-
you? Like, how much are you
Oh,
carrying
yeah.
right now?
Well, actually, I dropped my backpack off in my room during our time, during that 45 minutes, and I forgot to uncheck
Okay.
it.
All right. So uncheck it. Oh yeah, and if it's got all that in there, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's fixed again. Yay. Oh yeah, you're gonna be well, you would still be encumbered, so you'd be running at half speed.
Okay.
So would you still be faster?
Well,
In fact,
I
I
guess
think you
not.
might be slower. Well, he'd be encumbered too. Actually, I don't even think he could pick up the pelts with his current carrying load.
Okay.
Apparently, yes. Actually, he could. He could carry one and
So
not
there.
even be encumbered, and so could you, and not be encumbered, and you'd be having the one you're leaving for Wilda.
Off we go.
Well, I mean, she's about to leave the college, so we're gonna have to hang on to it for now.
Well, she's not going to leave the college. She already left. She literally left from there and was going to meet with her husband.
Right. Okay. I think we should just drop it off tomorrow then, to her. So I'll grab two.
So-
You can grab one.
Okay.
Do you want to store it for now, or?
Well, sounds like wherever they are, they were safe. So why don't we just grab two and
Well, they
make
were
a run
safe
for
while
it.
you run around while nobody's going in or out of
I just
the
don't want to
stable.
leave them out on, sitting on our wagon
All right.
for longer than necessary.
Leave them
Fair.
till morning when somebody might be coming in or out with a new load or leaving for their own trek.
Yeah, no, I don't have a mental picture of where they are. So, yeah,
They're
let's.
literally
No,
just laying on the wagon in the stables.
Right.
All right, let's grab two. I'll grab one, and let's run.
Okay.
All right. So when you get upstairs to Null, I'll say you can get there 5 minutes. It's only up one flight of stairs and at the end of a hall. He's there. He sees you coming up with the pelts, and he's literally, you see him scribbling away on a piece of paper, writing up, I will draw up the update to your trade contract. Quick, toss them on the counter.
So, are we okay to talk here?
Certainly. He's like, yes,
All right.
even if Strand's early, he'll be at least 10 minutes.
We managed to acquire some new information about her, and it doesn't seem to be as dire as you think it is. She seems to have spontaneously evolved, and only originated from the other side of the wall.
So she traveled through the mountains.
Yes.
And you can see he's something. You can see the hamster spinning on the wheel. He's trying to put something together there.
According to what we learned, she very nearly starved to death making the journey.
And he stops and he's looking at the pelt, checking, like feeling the quality of it. And how easy was she to defeat?
Well, it took about 4 or 5 of us to take her down.
And he looks at you like, of course it did. Only 4 or 5?
Well, we had the assistance of a dedicated hunting party. One guy was, pretty much your average burly fighter.
He turns and looks at you, Gargan, and were there any substantially more powerful spellcasters than yourself?
I mean, we had one, but he wasn't much help in the combat. We basically
Precisely.
took it down with mostly force, just physical force.
Did she use any magic?
No.
And you can see he's still thinking, and it had to be the wall. She simply made her journey across the distance of the wall, and something happened in the wall, in her nest.
Once she
It
crossed
doesn't.
over and had her young, she mostly stuck to the woods west of Watershine, just looking for food.
It doesn't really matter how she came to be. If Deepwater thinks that she came from Toja's Den, he would level all resent to keep that secret. And it's something he. Never mind. It just shakes it. Okay. Um. So, an additional 750 in credit for the 3 pelts. I've already drawn up your agreement.
Wait, how many pelts?
For the 3 pelts you brought up.
We would actually like to keep one of them for one of the professors to research. Is that okay?
And you can see he's just looking at you like, how many others have you discussed what we talked about with?
Just one of the staff.
Who?
Wilda. She seemed interested in it for purely academic reasons.
Yeah, you can assure her that we didn't discuss any of the suspicions regarding deep water.
We
or
didn't
anything like that.
mention you.
We didn't mention you. We didn't mention deep water. We didn't mention the suspicion of collaboration.
We approached her as for like just purely informational purposes. She was able to trace her origins.
That's how we got the information you just got.
And you can see he's just like, you. And you can see he's just, he is just flustered. Like, do you not know who she is?
Go on.
Oh, that tells me all I need to know. Of course. There's a reason you freshmen are not trusted with certain things. Good God.
Okay, what seems
Just
to be the problem then?
Wilda, prior to her joining the college as part of the staff, was once called Mistress Wonderwork the Destroyer. She
Sounds like she has
is
a bit of a
the
story.
most, she is hands down the most powerful spellcaster that has ever lived. With her focus being the altering and sometimes quite to her own pleasure, destroying of individuals' minds.
Well, we
And
appear to be
this
on her
is
good
the
side.
individual you trusted?
She's been a reliable source of information in the past.
To who?
Our party.
And apparently to you, just now.
He just looks you all over and Quark, let me see one thing about what he sees when he sees you. I didn't think so. Okay. Uh, you can see he pauses for a second. Did you promise it to her? Did you specifically state the words that you promised this to her?
No. She analyzed one of the pelts and didn't seem to have any particular interest in it. She, aside from just further study, we didn't promise it to her.
Very good. So out of you, how many of you are her students? Hers in particular.
Well, I am for sure.
I'm trying to check if Saul would have been one of her students or not. Where is my... Nope, this.
And
Okay, yes. Vincent is one of her students as well.
Yeah. You need to understand, we used extreme discretion in respect to you, but
That does not matter.
we're not going to betray her and go against something we've told her. Just to be clear.
I'm asking no such thing. And he looks at you and he looks at Vincent and he says, I'm giving you both a very important life lesson and piece of advice. If she ever asks for you to specifically promise that you will do something for her, think very carefully before you agree.
Appreciate that. It's a little bit of a deal with the devil vibe.
You don't know the half of it. He's like, let me readjust the contract. So take away 250. So 800 in credit, and I will take the 2, and you'll have the other one to give to the devil. Very well. My good friend Umbert. Such a strange fellow.
Well, we very much appreciate your understanding.
And again, do feel to stop by. If there's anything in particular you're looking for that you wish to see if I can bring it into stock in my Full Master shop, do inform me by and it just the whole server just froze for a second. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
A little bit.
Okay. Oh dear God. Oh, this is a nightmare. Okay. There we go. Log entry. No, not there. I need. Oh, that's why they renamed it. Please do it at least by midweek. I usually place any requests to be brought in at the start of the next week. the last, towards the end, the last 2-3 days of the week. So if you don't have it to me by the 6th or 7th, I will not be able to necessarily guarantee to have it for at least 2 weeks, if it's something I can acquire quickly.
Fair.
All right, let me. There you go. Dropped your null credit note in the party treasure. Did you want me to split all this party gold now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. We only had 2 pieces left over to spare. So yeah, y'all got some money now. I think all of you have over 600 gold each now. Plus whatever
Yep.
platinum you're holding on to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On that note, I think I'm going to call it there. Just going to round that. All right, let's say you guys go to meet up with Saul for dinner, and she would probably still be down there, and Drake I would be done at the temple.
Yep.
Okay, I will need to make a note about that. Unless, Andrake, do you have 5 minutes before we call it?
What do you mean by 5 minutes before we call it?
Like 5 minutes to go right now to
No,
talk something over of what happens at the temple.
They'd probably have to wait until next session.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, we'll call it there. And we'll pick up with that. Everybody, great session. Let me stop the recording.